Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle there for another stream on the channel, and I predict a Rowett. Gary Rowett is to be appointed Leicester City manager imminently from the club. Obviously, Radio Leicester have already reported it that he's took training and looks to get the squad ready for Stoke City at the weekend as Leicester take on the former club of Gary Rowett at the weekend in the Potters. And what is your thoughts of this one then? Gary Rowett, he's got vast experience in the Championship. Kept Oxford up last season against the odds and very much been out of a job since December, since leaving Oxford, by the way. Let me know your thoughts on the appointment which will be coming of Gary Rowett. What do you think he can bring? Can he tighten up this Leicester City team? And can we score goals, get clean sheets and get the points that matter to stay in this league is the big question here, because Leicester's at 22nd, 14 games to go, 32 points on the board. And West Brom are ahead of us by 2 points. And yeah, this one, it's basically shit or bust, isn't it? That's exactly how I'd put this appointment now. It's a race against time for Leicester. A massive job on his hands in such a short space of time. So let's see what Gary Rowett has to offer then. A player who played for Leicester back in the 2000s, left back, scored some goals. Very much a defensive player in his time, and obviously he's a defensive manager. He likes to keep his defence tight and that. But let me know your thoughts on Gary Rowett, Leicester fans. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Get down and do so. It would help me out massively. Before we get Jack in, let's chat. Hi Jack, hopefully some good news for a change. At least he has some record at doing well in this division at times. And some of us already remember him from his playing time here at Leicester City. LCFC till I die. Hi, Jack. You all right, mate? I'm good, thank you. Welcome, Gary. Good evening, Jack. Hello. How are we? Need an experienced hand to drag us through this and keep us up. Well, that's what he brings, experience. We talk about needing a manager who's got the experience in getting us through games. Hello, Mr. Broadnight, how are we? Hope you're good. He needs to fix the defensive situation. It's not just a defensive situation. At Oxford, he worked with a striker. At Millwall, worked with a striker. At Derby, he had a striker. At Birmingham, he had a striker. At Leicester City, we look like we're playing with 10 men every time. Do you get what I'm saying? So we haven't got a capable enough striker to work with. Daka scores less than what he was missing for. Jordan Ayew always defending and doing everyone else's job and not staying in the box when we need him and getting the goal. So easy, mate. He'll definitely keep you up. Big up, Maniac. How are we? Need to appoint a Maysat before the game runs out. Yeah, right. Let's get Jack in. Jack.
Well,
come on then. Talk to me.
Gary Rowett,
mate. Gary Rowett.
You said he can still play left. He played left back.
He did.
You reckon he can still do a job there now?
I'm sure he can play player manager. I'm sure he's still got it in his legs.
He can't be any worse. He can't be any worse than Luke Thomas, mate.
Well, this is it, you see. He's got a squad that he's got to work with that managers couldn't, like Cifuentes. Does he come across as a yes man? Probably not, because he wanted to be back to Oxford and he wasn't as the majority that he wanted to be.
I think that's why they sacked him, by the way.
Because he wanted to be back in January and he knew they needed players.
Yeah, and their board disagreed with him, and I think that's why they sacked him. Well, I know his run wasn't great. I think he had 1 win in 10.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, when we played them in, was it September?
Yeah, they played us around about that time, didn't they? Before we played Coventry at home, yeah.
And I thought they played quite well against us. I know we only had 10 men, but I did think they played well against us, to be fair.
He sets up well against teams, doesn't he? This is this is who he is. He's a defensive-minded manager. Defense first, attack second. That's
Can
how.
you remember when we won the championship last time? How tight Birmingham were?
Yeah.
I was on about this to someone at work earlier. I said he sets up well. I said, how do you know? I said, well, we played against him twice. I said, we only just beat Birmingham and we didn't beat Oxford.
Well, this is it with him. Obviously, when we played Birmingham in the Championship last time, Wayne Rooney were in charge, wasn't he?
Yeah, that home game, I think Rowett was in charge, wasn't he?
No, I think it was Tony Mowbray.
You sure? I'm sure it was right.
Tony Mowbray in the FA Cup.
Yeah, no, because we played them right near the end, didn't we?
Yeah, it would have been Gary Rowett then, yeah. So
we played him about 8 or 9 games to go, I think. I think it was his first game in charge.
He had 8 games, I think, to get them saved. He ended up going down.
I think it was his first game in charge. I can remember saying to him that he was appointed that we were going to lose.
That would have gone Mavididi scored.
Yes, and then that's the game where Stanfield scored when Maz kicked it straight at him.
Only Leicester could employ the ex-manager of a team below us. Jack, talk to me about the stance on the whole manager situation. 24 days ago, they sacked Marty Cifuentes. Obviously, Blackburn sacked their manager after, didn't they, Ishmael, after Marty got sacked. Then they seemed to act quite quickly in bringing in Michael O'Neill. Leicester, 24 days now, which is the longest, I think, a manager to be hired by King Power since taking the club. Leicester have dragged their heels with this one, haven't they? Gary Rowett's been out of a job since December, since being sacked from Oxford. That clearly shows that he wasn't the first choice. It was probably their 4th, maybe 5th. It depends how many managers they actually had on the list, but they've took their time well away with it, and he could have been hired sooner if they needed someone with that vast championship experience.
Let's just think. I bet they were playing. I bet they were banging the Enzo drum. We didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Then they're probably banging the dice drum. He didn't want to come back. He didn't want it. And then didn't Pete off say didn't that old Aberdeen manager wanted him, didn't they?
Derek McInnes.
No, the one that was mentioned last night.
Oh, I'm trying to really think of his name. Where is he? Hold on. Ex-Aberdeen manager Jimmy Tellin.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of him.
I ain't got a clue who he is. I just knew it was come from the Swedish league before taking over its Aberdeen.
We've only ever had one manager from the SPL, and then look how that planned out.
Craig Levine.
Yeah.
We should play nightmares, doesn't it? Thinking about that name, by the way.
Gives me nightmares.
I had a season ticket out here.
Yeah, I'm me.
Fucking hell.
Remember his first game, Jack? We beat Cobb.
That's when we had Mark DeVrenny.
I think Danny Chiatto scored, I think.
I think he did. I can't remember who scored the other.
Did we play Tottenham in the FA Cup that year? And we
yes.
Beat them 3-2.
Bloody hell. I tell you what, we look back at them times and then we think, bloody hell, what the state the club's in now. Ash, what's your thoughts on Gary Rowett? Obviously, Leicester have took their time to hire a manager. He's been out of a job for just over 2 months. Leicester have dragged their heels, been linked with bloody Enzo, been linked with bloody every other manager, every Tom, Dick and Harry at this point. Even Russell Martin's been mentioned, a few others along the way. But Leicester look like they're going to be appointing Gary Rowett.
Yeah. he's not going to be everyone's first choice, second or third choice probably, but it's where we are at the minute, ain't it, Jack? Obviously, the plan was that Kingy was going to get us a few results and they were going to give it him till the end of the season. It's obviously backfired. Enzo's not answering his phone. So they thought, well, we'll have to give it Rowett then. But to be honest with you, I think it'll be a solid appointment, to be fair. And we're in a position, we can't really be picky and choosy at the minute, can we?
No, we're not. I don't think Pep Guardiola could get the best out of this team, to be honest.
Well, that's it. And,
the
players need to pull the socks up and start getting it out of the shit.
Dyche would have been my preferred choice initially, but this guy Rowett can hopefully do us a job. Sean Dyche was mentioned, wasn't he, Jack?
Yes.
It has been confirmed by, I think, Peter O'Rourke again, was it? That Sean Dyche after leaving Nottingham Forest. Obviously, good friends with John Rudkin, Sean Dyche. They do know each other, but Sean Dyche is like, I don't want this project. I don't want nothing to do with it. So
I don't think Leicester have paid his wages anyway, mate. I googled earlier what he was on at Forest, about fell over. He was on £3.2 million a year apparently at Forest.
I mean, I'm surprised we didn't offer him $5 million.
Well, yeah, there is that.
You know what? They've overpaid for him. That's where we're at. But then, can we afford to overpay for managers? He missed a Northampton turn-in, should we say? And he trusted Mayen to be the sat nav, and then we ended up missing that Northampton turn, and it went to bloody Heathrow, and we were sat in traffic for an hour. We were just stuck at that point, and they just sent us here, there, and everywhere around England. So we did more of a tour around England than we did going to Southampton.
You're not going with them at the weekend, are you?
No, I'm not going for them at the weekend. I'll be on time. Jit, if you're watching, hello. Thanks for the tour around England, mate, and going to around Buckingham Palace, mate. And that's probably where we'd have ended up in the end. But no, nobody would come. He's only coming for his holiday, spending money in the summer.
Well,
it's no one's first choice appointment, is it, Gary Rowett? Let's just get it out there. It's not my first choice.
It's not a glamour appointment, is it? But at the end of the day, I mean, he's done a solid job most places he's been. Yeah. And at the minute, that's what we need. We need someone. First things first, he's got to make sure he shores up this defence, because we can't keep leaking as many goals as we are, or else we're not got no chance of staying up. And who would want the job now anyway? But the only way we're going to get a manager that's of high standard is if we stay up and we can regroup in the summer, and then you'll probably have a few more knocking on the door wanting the job. But until then, no one's going to come until they know what the division we're in.
Do you think that's the plan, Jack, with Leicester? Give it Rowett short term and then see what division we're in, and maybe it gives them a chance now to go and look for a permanent manager in the summer for a longer. Well, they call it project, don't they? A project.
Yeah, I think so. But what? I think they will. But I'd just say if he keeps his on, they want King Power. Like, I'll give him the job permanently.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's like I agree. Unless you're going with my mate Ronnie Michael, which gets there on time, then it's fine. Carry on, Jack.
Yeah, but you could stick to the train, but you'd probably go on the wrong one, knowing you.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Chris. Hope you're all right, mate. Beggars can't be choosers. We can't in this situation, boys. We sit 22nd in the Championship, 2 points from West Brom, who are just ahead of us. Obviously, Pompey won last night, which is obviously not ideal for us in the end. 32 points, 14 games to go. It's a firefighter mission. I think it's a massive job now, isn't it, Ash, for anyone to come in. Any manager that would take this job, it's a massive hill to climb to firstly go in and sort this squad out, to be honest. And you've got to make bloody Luke Thomas look like Roberto Carlos, for God's sake. And that's going to be a game in itself.
He's not a miracle worker, Jack. Come on.
No, and that's what we're hoping for. So someone who's a miracle worker to go in and sort this mess out.
I think, it's a win-win situation for Rowett, really, because if he keeps us up, it's more than likely they'll probably keep him on. And if he don't keep us up, he's going to say, well, it's not my fault. This is like out of my control. I just come to try and help, but this was salvageable. So he's in a win-win situation. He's not going to get the blame if we go down, and it's going to up his CV if he keeps us up. So, you know, it's good. It's good for him.
As long as you don't do what Dean Smith did and let someone who's not very good at penalties take a penalty and a must-win game.
Well, yeah, there is that, yeah.
What's funny, Jordan, are you being in that position? Could you, lads, in the last few games of the season?
So, as long as you don't let Luke Thomas have one, we'll be all right.
The way this season's going, anything's possible. Let's face it.
Well, it is. It's been a disastrous season, hasn't it, for Leicester?
Yeah.
You know, we've got lucky to get the 6 points rather than more. We've been off the hook, I feel, in a way. But, you know, you look at the defence. The defence is leaking all these goals. But then people always say about Gary Rowett, he's good at making you hard to beat. But then it's all right saying that. That's the cliche. But you've got to be scoring more than the opponent and winning the games and keeping the clean sheets. So you're at a side at the minute who are not scoring more than the opposition. They can't keep a clean sheet. And they haven't got a striker, so it's a difficult situation for him to come in, because every other club he's been at, they've had a striker, they've had a team capable enough to do the defending and not have a problem in doing it and putting the bodies on the line. With this Leicester squad, it's like they'll concede the first goal and then it's just claps from that point.
Yeah. That's the big worry for me. Where's the goals coming from? Because if we're not scoring a worldie, then we're not scoring at all, because we haven't got a striker, and I can't be doing with fucking Ayew up front. I just can't watch him anymore.
He's not a striker.
He's not a striker for a start, but that's bad recruitment in the summer. It should have been sorted in the summer.
They should have had a plan for Vardy, but it just shows this is my whole point with it. My frustration with Leicester is the Sat Marty, but they had no replacement. It's just like, we've not planned for this again, have we? But what are you planning? What are you doing?
They're getting so frustrated.
Yeah, because they're taking their time with things, and it's just like, well, what are you doing behind the scenes? Is the question.
There's known for 2 years that they needed a striker.
Yeah.
They knew when Vardy was going, they knew he was leaving, so. You know, they've got no excuses of not bringing a striker in. And to even think that Ayew and Daka were going to be the ones that scored all the goals to get us back to the promised land is just delusional.
The Premier League have a separate charge against you to be heard, so more points could come. What's that on? I've heard nothing on regarding another points deduction, and unless the Premier League appeal the 6 points that Leicester got currently, then they win that battle, they could get more points. But I've not heard anything else on regarding anything else. Thanks coming in, Chris. Gary Rowett, then, boys, 40% win rate, 232 wins, and he's 590 games as a manager. His first stint as Birmingham manager, he got them away from the relegation zone, didn't he? And then obviously he did end up getting them in the playoffs at one point, and then obviously replaced by Gianfranco Zola, which it went downhill for Birmingham at that point. Went in his second stint at Birmingham, threw in at the deep end to keep them up again. Obviously couldn't do it. See, Blackburn ended up beating Leicester, didn't they? Final day of the season, sent Birmingham down. He did well at Oxford against the odds, didn't he, when they went up from the playoffs from League One? He kept them up against all the odds. Derby County got them into the playoffs. But the thing is with Rowett, he's got safety on his CV, hasn't he? He's a manager now who seems to be a firefighter manager, like a Sean Dyche. But then you're looking at managers like bloody Sam Allardyce, Ash.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to be honest with you, he fits the build only for what we need now. He's kept teams up and, either mid-table or, or pushing towards playoffs. But for what we need now, I think it's a good fit. Whether the players are too far gone down the line now, I don't know, because trying to get them to play, it's hard. I mean, they couldn't play for King, so who else they're going to play for? But we have seen it in fits and starts, like the Southampton game, the first half, the best we've played for a long time. And then they came out like a different fucking side, second half, like they were playing with like strangers. And that the mentality's got to change if we're going to stay up.
Yeah. Jack, do you think he's capable enough, Jack, to come in and keep Leicester up?
It depends. If he keeps playing Luke Thomas at left back, then no.
Right.
I agree.
Fair enough.
He needs to either play Christensen or Luke over. He needs to play one of them. To be fair, I thought Christensen played all right at the weekend.
Yeah.
If you can sort the defence out, I think we might be all right.
I think that's the big problem, the defence. That is, it's there for all to see. I mean, if Gary Rowett's been watching the games from afar, he'll know where the mistakes have been coming from. And if he keeps picking them same players that are making the mistakes, then we've got no fucking chance.
Yeah, it's true, because Kings pick the same players, but then you look at Leicester's team, you can't really pick from much, can you? Because there's been obviously a lot of injuries again. And all that, and we've just been waiting for Finn, haven't we, in different areas. Jordan James is a massive miss. Abdul scores. Abdul this season has been a moments player, and he's been a big moments player in getting the goals that he scored, and most of them have been to help Leicester win games. But then when you want Abdul to do a Jordan James sort of role of carry this team, when Jordan James isn't, now he's been injured, he just hasn't got that sort of capability. We know what Abdul's capable of as a player. We know how good he is technically, and he's one of the best wingers in the Championship when he's on his day. So you just got to somehow find a formula now of a squad that's willing to fight. He's got to basically go into Seagrave and see what he's got to work with. I mean, I'm sure he'd know what he's got to work with. The way he said about going down from the Premier League, and then when he said it about on Sky Sports the other week about how Leicester's a mess. So, you know, he called the board out, didn't he, for what it was. But then the club have hired him, so they must want somebody now who's a straight talker. What do you think he can offer, Ash, as a manager? Obviously, we do talk about his defensive side of his work, but what more do you think we can get from him?
I think a no nonsense approach will help. You know, if he's going to say how it is, I think some of these players need to know how it is, and stop pointing your arm around them and saying, "Oh yeah, everything will be all right." No, sorry, that's me, lad. But you got to just tell them where they're going wrong, and if they've made mistakes keep being made, drop the players. I don't care who they are and how good you think they are. Yeah. Then they need to be shown that, you know, the club's more bigger than a player, and I think it'll just get us a bit more organised, and I just don't think he'll take much shit, which is what we need.
Yeah, someone, I know we've mentioned Nigel Pearson, haven't we, Jack? Someone who was a no-nonsense type of manager once upon a time. Gary Rowett's a pragmatic defensive coach, focusing on structured discipline and efficient counter-attack, often utilising a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. Obviously, 4-2-3-1 hasn't worked for Leicester this season, has it? We haven't had a bloody striker to make the striker option work. But then we're not creating enough in the box, are we, Jack, to be honest, as a team? And obviously, you're hoping that Gary Rowett can sort of come in and change that sort of regime going forward, that we create a lot more and score a lot more.
It don't out when your striker is supposed to play in centre forward, then is it on the wing most of the time? That don't help.
No.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
His team prioritises a compact defensive unit. Obviously, Leicester have only got 2 centre-backs to work with at this minute in time, haven't they? Coley and Ben Nelson. Vestergaard's injured.
Sells is injured.
Yeah, so there's not much to work with the Ash when it comes to defensive type of players.
No, that's the worry, ain't it? I mean, the Sells already got injured, which that was our worst fear that's already come to light. I mean, it's only 2 weeks, but still, is he going to keep picking knocks up every 5 minutes? You know, how long's Vestergaard out for? 5 weeks, something like that.
April, ain't it?
6 weeks.
So, you probably won't see him again, nearly. And then you've got a Coley who's just
a liability.
Yeah, I mean, if God was giving brains out, they forgot to give him fucking one, didn't they? But it's the same with Luke the fullbacks, though, the fullbacks have been terrible this season as well, and that's Ricardo. I'm including in that as well.
Yeah,
he's been a terrible captain as well this season.
He's just not a leader, is he?
No, that's what we're lacking.
We need a leader with discipline. That's what we need.
I don't know.
Who's the talker in the squad? Who
is one in there?
Because they don't pick their heads up off the floor when they're losing. It's just like, well, teams are just there, taking us there for the taking, aren't they? Every game, because they know they can get at us, and we ain't got a leader to sort of galvanise the team. You know, like you look at Wes Morgan, you bring Lascelles in, who is a leader. It was at Newcastle, the captain, and that he knew how to get the best out of that Newcastle squad. Off the pitch, obviously, when injured, but then on the pitch, he was good as well. A player that bloody pocketed Kylian Mbappe once upon a time, and not many players can say they've done that. So we need talkers in the team, and how many have we actually got in this squad that are capable enough to do it? And I think sometimes in football, you don't really need the armband to prove you're a captain. You just need to have a say when you need to, and I just don't think they communicate enough with each other, and they're willing to give each other a bollocking.
Yeah, I think the communication on the pitch is obviously not there, and you don't know when you're playing square pegs in round holes as well. It's just everyone just seems lost, and there doesn't seem to be no plan, or when there's just one thing goes wrong, that's it. It goes to carnage, and everything goes to shit, and that's got to stop. Or else we're going to be in League One next season. There's no doubt about it.
It seems like any time a lad plays well, he picks up an injury. Well, that's been a massive issue. I'm cursing Mayor for making you late, Jack, because you're unable to do your food review. Yeah, unbelievable, mate. Not forgiven for that. I told him about that.
Well, if you'd have told me to go somewhere, I could have done it for you.
Well, you could have done it for me. I could have just...
Well, I did try to ring you to see where it was good for food, and you didn't answer your mobile, so that's your own fault.
Best thing Andy King did was naming Ben Nelson as captain. He's the future. He's got young players to work with, though, hasn't he, Ash? And obviously, the younger players this season have been having to do the experienced players' job. They're having to come in and hit the ground running, basically, because we're having to rely on the youngsters because, you know, we haven't got that sufficiency in the team to stand up and be counted for. And you know how hungry these younger players are. They're committed. They work hard. You've seen how good Aluko is in spells of games. Thomas has been good as well, hasn't he? Silko and Louis Page puts in the effort. Monga's been good in spells as well, but then obviously since he's been injured, he's not really been the same. So these younger players is what he can work with, and I know he's done it at many other clubs as well.
Yeah, the young players, they're doing their bit. You know, that it shouldn't be all put on their shoulders. You know, the senior players should be taking all the flack. These shouldn't be. It shouldn't be on the young players getting us out of the shit. But that's the position we're in, obviously. But regarding Ben Nelson, obviously he played for Oxford when Rowett was in charge, and so Rowett's going to know a lot about Nelson already. So I can imagine. Wouldn't surprise me if he'll feature a lot anyway. Nelson will now because Rowett rates him quite highly.
He did well at Oxford under Gary Rowett, didn't you, Jack? Ben Nelson.
Yeah. He just got injured at the end, didn't he?
Yeah. So it's someone Gary Rowett can trust, someone who the players can say, okay, then Ben, well, what's Ben Nelson or what's Gary Rowett like? What can he offer? How does he utilise his players? Because that's something they'll be interested in.
Yeah, was he in charge of Birmingham when Jordan James was there?
Yes.
I think he might have been.
He just started coming through. I know he had that first season, didn't he? Under was it full season when Wayne Rooney were there?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah,
it'd be there in them last 8 games.
Bonjour, lads, and chat. Are you free on a no-shave chin till we get a decent manager in protest? I don't know. I don't know. Someone said to me, "Don't shave your hair, Jack, till Leicester keep a clean sheet." I said, "Fucking hell."
Fucking hell.
That was some bloody sight, wasn't it?
We belong to the
we got a great manager in Rowett, but just so you understand, he's really got Derby on his mind. Cheers, Paul, mate. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate that. Be interesting how far down the list Gary Rowett was.
Yeah.
It just shows they've took the time with everything.
I think it's obvious they got knocked back by a few managers, because if Rowett was the first choice, he'd have been in the day after Marty Fuentes was sacked, because he was out of work. You know, it took 4 weeks. So I think I think the plan was there was hoping Kingy got a few results that thought, right, we'll get the fans back on side, and then we'll give it him till the end of the season and see what happens. And it's backfired. And that's why they're where we're at now. That's
the plan. And with Kingy, he should never have been put in this situation, but he's accepted the responsibility for it. He said he'd want to manage Leicester at some point, but it's too early in his career to do it at this point in the season. But he's been relied on, and they were hoping he'd achieve to then give it him till the end of the season. Because he's not won the games, it makes it even harder on Kingy. And Kingy's not to blame for this situation at all. But the situation is that which manager really wanted to come to Leicester? Who's looked at our situation for what they can't do? What happened?
I think John Woodkin's a big offer anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I really do. I think, and it's all right getting all these new technical directors in and sporting directors and that, but until Woodkin goes, it's just going to be the same shit show all the time, because he's still the man who has the last say, the final say.
They've still got to go to John Woodkin, aren't they?
That's what I mean. He's the man who has the final say. So it's just going to be going around in circles.
It's not like they're making the decision. It's Woodkin. So Woodkin has the last say again. So you're sort of stuck in this vicious bloody circle. Yeah. A Stoke mate of mine said the football is a tough watch. Fantastic. Good to know. But grinds out results. That's what we're needing, isn't it, Jack? Grind out the points.
Well, football can't be any worse than it has been.
Well, we'll only see what happens with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we just need to grind out results. But
I think another thing, I think the fitness levels need to start going up as well, because we don't look at it.
We're not a very fit team.
They don't look fit, really. And this is what you've seen in pre-season. They looked all right when Kingy had them in pre-season. But then when Marty took over, it's just they don't look fit at all. They can't last bloody half an hour in a game.
And that's the worrying thing, because it seems
they're not doing the yards in the training ground.
Well, I've got my thoughts on that Seagrave. I think it's the worst decision we ever made going there. But I just think that's the worrying thing for me. We can't seem to put in a 90-minute performance in.
No, they're a one-half team, 45 minutes, like they did against Southampton, then just turned off, like they weren't even.
Yeah, and the writing was on the wall. As soon as they got one back, you just knew that it was going to just implode.
Can't you, around the stadium when the goals go in against us, when we're leading games?
Yeah,
you just know we're not home and dry.
It's like when they let that goal in extra time Saturday. I said to Jack, we ain't getting back into this game.
Yeah, we just seem to be so predictable at the minute. It's though you just know it just takes one goal and the edge drop, and that's it. Because there's no way we should have lost that Southampton game. Well, both of them, to be fair. The FA Cup one as well, I think we should have beaten them then. But again, it's just individual errors that are costing us big time.
It's just that mentality as well, isn't it? We shoot ourselves for a lot of the time this season. Some of the goals we've conceded are our own doing. The red cards we've conceded to ourselves have been our own doing.
Yeah, I think if we do go down though, I think that is going to be a big factor of that game against Southampton, blowing that lead. And then especially what went on before, having losing to Charlton and Oxford. I mean, it's unforgivable, really. And it felt like the final nails in the coffin. I just hope that Gary Rowett can pull off some kind of miracle and get us over that line.
no manager's a miracle worker, though.
No.
This is what it is. You know, he's just got to come in and make it work from the off. You know, he's got a big job on his hands and it's such a short space of time. So he's got to change that quickly. And nothing's ever done overnight, is it? Obviously, he's had his first training session today with the boys. Hopefully, he's just said, don't put anything on YouTube. I don't want none of that. I actually want these boys to work on and stop being on camera for once.
Yeah, so, that's a good point, Jack, to be honest, because whoever is the social media person needs to fucking stop, because these pointless Instagram posts.
It's all right showing them training, but I don't care what they do in training. I just want to see what they do in the stadium.
It's just, you know, anyone can show a clip of someone training for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Me and you could kick a football round and do a crossbar challenge to make it look like our legs are strengthened. And we're up for it.
I hope you don't put St Archers back in goal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where's this other goalkeeper?
Fucking, he must do the fucking warm-ups.
You might as well be bloody kicking the ball at him, I think. You look at our players. You know, Mavididi. Let's talk about Mavididi under Gary Rowett. Surely he's got to do. Is it Dembele, Jack, at Oxford?
I think so.
Dembele was good under Gary Rowett at Oxford. So you're hoping he can do that with Mavididi. And Mavididi's been so much missed this season. He's struggled massively. He's not been the same since Enzo Ria.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
He's been a massive miss on that left-hand side. It just feels like a hole.
It wasn't great last season, was it? To be honest.
Well, Steve Cooper didn't want to play him, did he? Him for Tawu, and that obviously hit the stumbling block. And then Ruud van Nistelrooy came in. He wasn't playing then, and then Abdul got injured, and he's got to do a lot of work, not just defensively, but the attack as well. I think the whole team needs a complete revamp, but you can't sort of look at our squad and think, you know what, we can add players here, because we can't. The only thing we can do is add free agents, but we're not obviously looking at that either, which is a worry.
Yeah, that they didn't bring a striker in the January window, so I don't think they're going to bring one in now. But I think a lot of it's to do with attitudes of the players as well, though. That needs to change, because it seems like they're down tools too quickly for my liking. When something don't go right, and they start getting the arse, and then it just affects the whole team.
You've seen Kingy, haven't you, making the team know about it, that if you're not with
and they're probably got the arse for that.
Yeah, you're not wearing the shirt again, basically. And that's the attitude you need to have with them, though, isn't it? You know, make them work for it, make them work hard, make them want to play the game. Get it in the mind that if you're not good enough, you ain't playing for it. You ain't playing in games.
Yeah, they've had it too easy for too long. That's the trouble.
They've had tough love, I think, and they don't like it when tough love's being given. It's just like, but I don't want none of this. Not interested.
I can't see Winks lasting very long on the Rowett, you know.
Well, Harry Winks is another one that's just come back into the team.
Yeah.
So
I can't see him lasting long under him, I don't think.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's one of the best players we've got, Winks, when he's on form, but his attitude fucking stinks.
It's the mentality problem with this squad, isn't it? I think that's what we're looking at. It's the mentality. He needs to go in and change this mentality ASAP and demand it from the players, but they're going to think, but you're only here for 6 months.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But a lot of some of the players are only here till then as well.
Well, some of them are. Harry Winks is one of them, isn't he? Ricardo.
They don't give a fuck if we get relegated.
Nah, they'll be on to. You'd think though that they'll actually want to turn up and get a move to another club in the summer. And you know what? Put themselves in the shop window. If you know what, if we keep Leicester up, teams are going to want to come and get me here. So it gives me an escape route out of here by doing something generous for once. But it's all about keeping that door shut and stop conceding sloppy goals and keep getting clean sheets. And you know, to go 26 games in the league straight now without a clean sheet, it's worrying. You know, you'd expect that a lot. Sheffield
It's
Wednesday.
unacceptable, ain't it, though? That at any level, that is unacceptable. 26 games without a clean sheet is just, there's no defending that. You can't even hold your hands up and go, yeah, they've had bad luck here. They've brought it all on. They've brought it all on themselves. Half the goals are avoidable. They just do stupid mistakes, but don't seem to learn from them.
No.
And that's a frustrating thing.
That one in Birmingham were a joke.
Just gets caught on the ball.
Again, that fucking Ricardo, though.
It just shows a lot of the teams are up for it against us, and we're not giving the fight back. This is it. Teams are fighting, but what have we got to show for it? It's just like, yeah, but I can't do this. I don't like being out-muscled. I don't like being kicked.
Yeah, that's the worrying thing. We're getting out-muscled every game, and we seem to be one of the easiest teams to play in the league. Yeah. And I do think it's going to be either us or West Brom who go down. I think that'll be it.
If Pompey go and beat Ipswich, then they're home and hosed, I think. Michael says, will Rowett be in the dugout in time for this weekend's match, as he won't have much time to train and prepare the players? Well, he's took training today. Hopefully he's had a bit of positivity on this squad to get them going. We can only hope anyway. He's utilised the game plan and change what needs to be changed in this team regarding the style of football and that, and make us hard to beat. But we've got to be scoring goals, and winning games is the main priority now in these next 14 games, and it's crucial. We obviously do play Portsmouth coming up as well. We've got Blackburn coming up on the final day, so we need to be doing a lot more going forward, don't we, Ash? Obviously, we've got a tough run in. Stoke away, Middlesbrough away, Norwich at home.
The fixture list, it don't look kind, does it, to us? No. But I think it's all about just getting points now. I'm not bothered about performances. It's just getting whatever, by hook or crook, or however we get the points, just get those 3 points, because performances are out the window. Yeah, great if we perform well as well. That's a bonus, but it's all about winning. I'd take a 1-0 win. It'd be great, wouldn't it, Jack? A sloppy, just a boring 1-0 win. It'd feel like we've won the lottery, wouldn't it?
Stoke fans think we'll beat them 2-0 at the weekend. I said, hold your horses a minute. I said, you're talking about a clean sheet, bloody side who don't keep them. So it looks like the bloody old Crappico at the weekend, doesn't it? Stoke are not in great form. Leicester are not in great form. And it's just two poor sides this year. And
they started really well.
Both sides who need points.
They started off really well, didn't they? And then they've just had this big drop off. But I think they've had a lot of injuries. What I've seen some Stoke fans have been put in.
That's their struggle.
Yeah, but it's either going to go one way or the other, ain't it? Saturday, we're either going to really kick on, or we're just going to be the same old shit that we have been for all season.
Well, let's hope the bloody manager. We talk about manager balance, don't we? And let's hope Gary Rowett can bring that.
We need one similar to what Norwich have had, don't we?
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job there, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, they couldn't win for enough money. We even beat them. I know it was a last minute goal, but I think we ended up sacking him after we beat them, didn't we?
Liam Manning.
I think they sacked him.
Sacked after that. I think that'd have been Marty.
Yeah. I think if we'd have lost that game, I think Marty would have been gone. Yeah.
Yeah, Stoke make it tough, don't they? The bet 365. They're very much a side that like to sit deep, get you on the counter attack. They've got the players to do it, in Sorba Thomas and that. And then Leicester just need to utilise it, because if you look at Leicester's squad on paper, people are bloody laughing. And then people always tell me, "Yeah, but you're too good to go down. You're this, you're that. You've got enough." And I'm thinking, "Yeah,
really, we're not."
This season, it's all right having the best players in your squad. It's utilising them for a positive, not a negative. And it's been more negative this season because they've not been up for the fight.
Yeah, that's right. It's all right having good players, but if their attitude's not good and you're not playing the formation and the system to suit them players, then you're just pissing in the wind. You need to play to your strengths of what you've actually got available to you.
So Gary Rowett's defensive unit is minimising space. between the lines while utilising direct, purposeful attacking play to maximise results. Gary Rowett prioritises solid foundations over high lines. He utilises it quite well, to be honest. Obviously, Oxford fans, they speak that it's the most boringest football to watch. They said he kept them up last season against the odds, but then he's not one of these who's ever got promoted from the Championship. He's a sort of, what would you call him? A bottom half Championship manager? Should we look at it? Maybe.
Would you call him a firefighter manager? Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. But that's what we need at the minute. And like, even if he does keep us up, I don't think it should be a long-term appointment. I think we should be looking elsewhere in the summer, regardless of what happens.
I honestly think the fans will back him. Obviously, he's been an ex-player as well, so obviously the fans know of Gary Rowett. You wouldn't think Gary Rowett as a player would be managing the club at one point, but here we are. The fans will get behind him, I'm sure. But then it's the players that need to deliver for him as well, and these players have. So it's the players we talk about in this situation that they've got to be stood up and counted for under him. It's got to be no messing about here. You've got a season to kick on with. You've got 14 games. You can either step up or you don't, and that's down to the players. That only a manager can only do so much, can't they, Ash, in a situation? And Gary Rowett can only get the plan together, make it work. But it again reminds me of a Dean Smith type of appointment.
Yeah, you're right. It does feel like a Dean Smith appointment, and it's not going to be pretty. Let's be about right. It's not going to be pretty to watch, but if it can grind out some results and just get us up that table, it's we'll be forever grateful, won't we? But I don't know who the fans thought we were going to get in this situation, though. Anyone thought we were going to get Jurgen Klopp or something? It ain't going to happen. We're in this predicament. We've been, the powers that be have fucked us up completely, and now we're in this turmoil. And if we go down to League One, I don't expect us to fucking bounce back either.
We're in a mess as a football club. There's so much disconnect, and the fans are not. The fans will obviously get behind him for sure, like I say, but then he's obviously not everyone's first choice at all. But then you've got to look at where we are as a club now, and what the target is now to stay up. And you obviously wouldn't have thought about that this season, would you? Looking at it, thinking you look at Leicester's team. It's a playoff push, isn't it, you'd look for this season. But here we are in the realisation the table doesn't lie. Paul, you've not been blocked at all, mate. I can see you talking to Giannis in the actual comments, having your own conversation about Leicester and Derby. But, I've just had a look here about Coventry fans. Coventry fans are very much like, oh, yeah, that's it. Gary Rowett's coming in. Leicester have got to play Middlesbrough soon in Ipswich, and hopefully they can do us a favour. I think for us, we'd be the bloody last team we'd want to do a favour for them.
Yeah, but we might need them to do us a favour at the weekend because they've got West Brom, ain't they?
Yeah, they've got West Brom at the Hawthorns. I don't believe they've won there since 2007.
Well, they need to start winning there.
Coventry have won in the last away on the road for about 8 games now straight. So,
oh really?
Yeah, West Brom. I mean, their manager's under well pressure. So
he's already under it, ain't it? So
that's what I'm saying.
I never heard of him, to be fair, till he got the job.
How many times the players say we are working on it game by game, we're losing. That's the thing, Azola, innit? I always say this about the players. It's all right talking the talk on social media. You've got to go and walk the walk in real life and do what's needed for this team. And they're not. They talk too much on social media, but the fighting talk is not being done on the field. Words are cheap in football if you've not got the actions to back it up. That's what I always say.
Yeah, there's no point spouting off on social media if you can't back it up on the pitch. And it makes you look a bit fucking daft, don't it?
It does. Good appointment. Yeah, I'd say in the situation that we are, I think it's a good appointment. We need to obviously stay up. Are you all right, Jack? I'm all right. Big mess. God help us, mate. Pray it works out. That's all we can do. There's news that the club is going to announce the appointment of director of football soon. I mean the technical director. Obviously, John Ruckin will still be the director of football, I'm afraid, Paul. But yeah, we are getting a new technical director in. What's your thoughts on the new technical director, Ash? It supposedly will be coming in. Obviously, that's only been reported by Alan Nixon. How much we read into it is another thing. But what's your initial thoughts on the technical director? Obviously, worked at Manchester City. So, I mean, they don't just hire any Tom, Dick and Harry, do they? Man City is a football club. But you want to see the wheels now in motion, don't you, going forward? And what do you think this technical director can bring?
Well, first of all, he's got to not be a yes man. And
yeah,
because he's got to challenge Rudkin. Because if Rudkin keeps getting his own way, we're just going to be in the same shitty cycle we have been for God knows how long. So I'm hoping he can get what's the word? You know, get things in order that Rudkin cannot do. He's not capable of, because he's going to have a job to do. Honestly, I can imagine it's a right unorganised shit show at the moment. So he's going to have to come and hit the ground running, and you know, when he needs to be an expert in his field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because and he's obviously got a good CV. You know, you don't work at Man City for shit.
That's the thing. I think he was a sports scientist at Man City, but then he's obviously gone on to do technical director stuff and that around football since leaving Man City. So
I think he went to the Belgian side as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to a Belgian team and then he worked elsewhere after that.
But so, apparently,
I don't know who he is. I can't comment on him.
No,
and what
but apparently, he's not spoke very highly of it, the Belgian team, apparently. Wasn't too keen on him there.
Chris, hello, mate. How are we? It's meant to see how you can generally disappointment. I'm a Birmingham fan. We're in a horrific state when fans gave up and he invigorated the fan base on literal pennies by gaining us 2 10th places. No, it's not that anybody's dissing the appointment. It's just the case that, you know, it wasn't the first choice, is what we're saying. And yeah, you like we said, Ash, about he got replaced by Gianfranco Zola, and it went tits up from there basically for Birmingham City. And every time someone seemed to get bloody Birmingham in the playoffs, you look at who was it? The bloke now, is it John Eustace? Got Birmingham in the playoffs, and then the bloody sacked him for Wayne Rooney, and that never worked out in the end. But no, do you know what? We are willing to give Gary Rowett a chance. We're only hoping and praying for a miracle at this point that he can work with this squad and actually keep us in the league. And that's the main aim for him. That's the main aim. We're not asking for anything more. We just want to see points on the board and us above the relegation zone rather than going down to bloody League One at this point, Mark and Chris. So it's just a tough task for any manager. I think that's what Leicester fans' problem is, that who's actually going to come in and save us. And I think
sorry, Jack. I think the main reason why the fans are so pissed off is why it took 4 weeks to get a manager in that's already out of a job. It could have been done within a week. It could have all been sorted if Rowett obviously wasn't the first choice. And that's the frustrating thing about it, is they've not had a plan in place, and like many times before, they've not had no plan in place, and that's why fans have finally had enough, and this is why all this turmoil is happening now.
It's because they ain't got a plan. And Chris, this is what we say. It's frustration that we couldn't have hired him sooner. We could have hired him 5 games ago and had a lot more points on the table, but we haven't. We've just left it.
And that's because they thought Kingy was going to get all the fans back on side by getting a couple of. They thought we were going to beat Charlton and Oxford, and it's backfired.
Yeah,
that's what happened. They thought that Kingy was going to get us couple of results against teams like Oxford and Charlton, and then we'll give it him till the end of the season. That'll keep the fans off our back, and we ain't got to appoint another manager.
That just shows they ain't got a contingency plan. They're just hoping for the best and praying for it at that point.
Yeah, incompetent. That's what they are.
That's what it is. Will he be announced for Stoke? You'd hope so. If I was a Leicester fan, I'd consider the season safe now. You've appointed him. He'll be assisted by Mark Sale and Dave Carolan. Most likely. I've just come across your podcast, boys. Keep up the good work. No, we appreciate it. You know, we do have a lot of fans on here who come and chat, like Ash and Jack and whoever else comes on and wants to discuss. That's what we're here for, to chat about Leicester bloody City. And yes, it can be bloody depressing this season, more times than positive. He took training today, so they're probably waiting to see if Winks accepts him before announcing it.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise you, would it?
No. What would sort of be your sort of Gary Rowett team? If you look at everyone now, say going forward, and picking the team going forward now with say everyone's fit. Obviously, Vestergaard's not going to be here till about April, so we'll talk about the next 5 games with the potential now of Gary Rowett. What do you think the next sort of team will look like under Gary Rowett? What would you like to see it be, Ash, going forward?
Well, what I'd like to see is I don't want Ayew up front. That's for a start.
Fair enough.
I'd like to see him give Richards a go up front, but he's been brought in as a winger. Now,
I don't
for the life of me, I can't understand that decision anyway. But yeah, I think he should drop Ricardo, if I'm honest with you.
Would you put a Luco?
Yeah, I'd put a Luco there. I'd stick. Obviously, when Jordan James come back, he's got to go straight back in the midfield with Skip.
For sure. I agree.
A Luco, I'd play him. I'd probably give Christensen a go at left back because Thomas is a liability.
Yeah, it's not been good enough, has he? Whether he's got the support or he hasn't, he's just not. He's just not cut out for it.
I'm not even a big fan of Christensen either, but it's,
he just not looked interested.
No.
If you're looking at it, do you remember when he went out on loan last time?
Yeah, to Bologna, weren't it?
And he basically said that I won't play for Leicester City again.
Yeah.
But then Bologna were like, well, we're going to try and get him on the cheap here. We're going to down to all our payment of what we agreed to pay Leicester City. And Leicester were like, well, nah, you're not. Yeah. And then obviously we ended up playing him, was it last season? And
yeah, he came back with his legs between his tail between his legs, and
dropped Thomas, Ricardo and Ayew.
Yeah,
any more players you drop?
Yeah, it's obviously now the goalkeeper situation's a bit dodgy for me now because I thought Begovic looked really dodgy the other against Southampton.
Oh, poor goalkeeping, didn't it? There, poor goalkeeping for an experienced keeper like that to do what he did.
Yeah. And Jakub's not covered himself in glory either this season with his flapping about. So why don't we give this new Spanish kid a go? Why not give him one? Well, not really a kid, but just give him a go.
Here we go. Problem with the new gaffer now is all the players get a clean slate now, and he'll be having to decide who's shit or not, unless he's been watching the games. I agree. Yeah. Do you know what, Everett? I agree with what you're saying there. Well, what's your thoughts, Ash, on what Everett said about the team? Obviously, they're all going to get clean slates, aren't they, if he hasn't been watching us? But some of the comments that he has made in the past few weeks, it clearly shows that he's had an eye on Leicester City.
Yeah. They've all got, look, there's a new manager to impress now, so they've all got a clean slate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how good you are. If your attitude's shit, then you're not in the team for me. And if Gary Rowett don't, if he lets the players walk all over him, then we've got no chance. So, like I say, I don't want to see Ayew up front. That's my big problem because he slows all the attacks down. He's not a forward. If anything, play him in a number 10 role if he's going to play at all. But, yeah, what can you say?
Clibbo! Right. talk to me. Gary Rowett and all that, right? We've discussed quite a lot actually since you've actually come on. Before you came on, actually. What's your thoughts, Clibo? What's your feeling? Gary Rowett's be appointed. Leicester have 14 games to go. It's a firefighter mission now. It's the race against time for a Leicester City side that have just lacked everything this season. What's your thoughts? What do you think Gary Rowett can do? Are you happy with the appointment? And who would you have liked if it wasn't Gary Rowett? Obviously, I'm assuming it wasn't your first choice.
It clearly wasn't the club's first choice, like you said on your clip earlier. Which I don't know. That just seems a bit slapdashery is the word I'd use. But he's not my first choice. You're right. But given the situation that we're in, I'm going to give the guy every opportunity till from now to the end of the season. I think if it just goes the same way, I think that says a lot about the playing staff and the general management of the club. I think he's got the qualities to be able to shore up the defence a little bit. And I think to sort of go back to basics, I think if you look at the likes of Kingy, he's brought up managing under and probably coaching under the current system, and I think he's shown a lack of experience, which clearly he's got, and I don't hold any bad feeling towards Kingy. But in terms of that, I'm reasonably happy and willing to give the guy a go. I think the technical director is a clever move. I think
explain that. Go on.
Well, I think if you look at his CV, he's I think Ash alluded to it earlier. He's not going to be bullied by a Rudkin. There's absolutely no chance that's going to happen. And I think it'll be a short appointment if Rudkin tries to. I mean, this guy's been high up in many places. Impressive CV. So I think that's a bit of a masterstroke from the club. So whether Gary Rowett lasts more than his current contract is debatable. But in terms of if he keeps us up and he keeps us up with a few games to go, I don't see why we wouldn't give him a couple of years deal, because the current situation at the club is that it's going to take at least a couple of years to straighten things out and solidify in the championship. So if he proves himself, why not?
Chris says here about Gary Rowett, actually. It's not as bad. It's just not talking from gracious sense of view. He's a fixer. No nonsense. A to B manager. Uses common sense. That's all we want to see, isn't it, Ash? No nonsense. Even Oxford managers would say he's not a long-term manager. He's not a long-term fixer. He's a short-term fixer for the problems that you have. You know, to have him on a short-term deal is better than having him long-term. When Oxford fans spoke about him, it didn't work out long-term for him in the end. And I think I can say, you look at Millwall, I think he spent 4 years at Millwall, and, you know, it was okay to an extent. To be honest, when he went in there, obviously left with mutual consent, took Derby into the playoffs in the end. But he's not your long-term fix. And maybe do you sort of see that we have somebody else lined up? But then I say that with this football club, we ain't got a contingency plan. So I'd probably say no. But do you think it's like a short-term thing now, and then it sort of makes them look for a new manager while he's doing what he's doing for the next 14 games, and then they can see, you know what, we can get a better manager, because there'll be quite a few more managers out of a job in the summer. So maybe if we stay in the championship, you can bring a proper sort of ideal manager in for what they call it, a long-term project, don't they, these days in football? But look at Watford. They only last 6 or 3 months as a manager. So, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I fully expect it to be a short-term deal from the start. There's no point in giving him a long contract because we don't know what league we're going to be in next season.
It's true.
Although, having said that, if we actually do go down, he probably won't be too bad in League One as the manager. But, yeah, as a short-term option, I think that's the way to go for now. if he did manage to keep us up, would I keep him? Probably not. But then
the Championship.
But if we do stay up, maybe the club. I don't think the club's got a plan in place. Let's face it. They don't know from day to day.
No,
and that's been shown that they don't.
They don't even know which bloody staff members need sugar and which ones don't. So,
but all we can do is take it game by game at the minute and see what we can produce out of these players that have let us down all season, and that means he's got to get back to basics, and it sounds like he's a pretty direct with his football and stuff, and that's what we need at the minute: a bit of a kick up the arse, a bit of structure, and a bit of not playing players that are not in their preferred positions and actually knowing what they're doing on the pitch, because a lot of the times the players look lost on the pitch this season. Yeah. And the one little thing that goes wrong and the big explosion ends up happening. And Kingy's been thrown in at the deep end as well. Like he looks a broken man in my eyes at the moment. And that's what I feared when they actually gave him the interim job. But I think he'll be kept on the coaching staff, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's why they brought Adam Sadler back in it to sort of help behind the scenes. Clibo, advisor says, but if it is short term, will they wait to start looking until a week after the season, or will they start now? What do you reckon?
Well, you would hope that there's been a bit more thought around the appointment and the situation we're in. I think Ash made an interesting point about if we potentially go down to League One. If he starts to look towards the back end of the season that he's making progress, if we go down to League One, is there anybody better that could come in? Because it's not looking a very attractive option. And if he's starting to make the progress, why sack him?
Yeah,
I agree.
It gives him an opportunity to, I don't know, say they did hire him in late. Say we do go down. It's sort of he gets to know the squad. Obviously, he's going to lose a lot of players. Of course, he is in that time, isn't he, Clibo? Like your Winksies, your Ricardos, you're expecting a lot of players to leave. You've obviously got the young players to work with next season. Your Alucos, your Jake Evans will come back from Northampton. Louis Page, you've got a lot of players you can utilise, these younger players, because they'll be hungry in League One. They'll show the commitment that he wants from them. They're willing to learn, to sacrifice everything to make it work.
We've got to keep them. We've got to keep them for a start, because Ben Nelson's way too good for League One. Aluko's too good for League One. Monga's way too good for League One. And there's a quite a collective of players that I would say, if we could keep, probably are too good for League One. I think the interesting thing about this particular appointment, and will be very interesting on Saturday against Stoke, is whether he picks youth over experience or the other way round. Because let's be honest, if you've got experienced players,
hello Dan,
if you can get a tune out of experienced players and get them to use their experience properly, which they've not done all season, to guide youngsters, because it's never really looked like that, has it, all season? I mean, you've been to pretty much every game. It's not looked like that. So it'd be interesting to see his take on that. I personally, and with Ash, I don't want to see the likes of Ricky P, and I don't want to see Ayew in that side. Those two particularly. The reasons are, Ayew, as we all know, slows the game down. He's not in the box. He's crossing the ball in the box. What's the point of that? And Ricky P, and I've said it many, many times on many streams, is my favourite current player at that club. I love the bloke, right? But he is no longer good enough to play in the Championship.
Fair enough.
Let alone any other league in this, because it's so rough and tumble. He's just too fragile. And it's time he went. It is. He's a cultured player. Yeah. If he goes and plays in a league that's a little bit slower, that's got maybe a better skill level, but a slower league, where he can stop, look, pass, then maybe he's still got a bit of a career left. But those injuries have took its toll, and for the life of me, I can't understand why successive managers have kept picking him, because the problems that it's caused are obvious, and you can see it week in, week out virtually now.
Probably. Ronald McDonald, I think midfield would probably be a bloody better option, to be honest, and doing all that running up and down the pitch as a fullback. Who will be left for League One? Bobby and Vestergaard. I think they'll bloody both be gone. I'll be honest. I think there'll be a massive reshuffle at Leicester City in the summer if Leicester are down in League One. Massive restructure. We'll be bringing in probably a new 11 players at this point. I think Gary Rowett would need his boots at that point to come and play for Leicester to help us out in League One. So I agree about.
Just looking at that comment there, with Ronald McDonald, Ricky P may be better playing in midfield. I think his skill set, maybe, but his fragility, I don't think so. Not in the Championship. He just get bullied off the ball.
He can't do 2 games a week. And
I'd strip him with a captaincy as well.
Saturday games, he plays 1 game, and then Tuesday games, he's not in the team unless someone's not fit. So it's like
you can't get a settled back four doing that, and that's so important. I think going forward, we need a settled back four if he plays a back four. Having said that, I don't think we've got 3 centre backs at the club that are fit, so we couldn't play a back 3.
Rowett was the reason Pavos Palakis left, because he kept opening his mouth to Rowett. Yeah, but that just shows that he's not going to back down from making decisions. He's actually going to go there and talk to this team in a manner that he thinks they need talking to. Because I said about this season.
I said last night, I mean, like, we've all been advocating for somebody to go in and bollock them, right? We've all thought that, included. But I think at this stage now, it's so delicate that a manager needs to go in there and sit them down and have a real honest discussion and let the players have their opinions and discuss. Then go out on the pitch. If it goes tits up, then bollock them. Then lay into them. But I think they're all very fragile at the minute. And I think, if you're having a bad time at work and your boss comes in and lays into you, the last thing you want to do is work hard for them, or potentially want to slap them, whichever is your preference.
We know what Climo would do at the training ground. I said to Ash about stability. Yeah, that's something he'll bring, won't he, Climo? Obviously, they talk about him being a manager who makes them hard to beat on the short-term basis of it. But then we also spoke about the goals. The goals, Leicester can score goals when they actually put their mind to it, but we're not outscoring teams. We're letting a lot more in than we are scoring. But then we haven't got a striker who can bury goals week in, week out. And obviously we spoke about Ayu, who you've touched on, and we've obviously got Daka, who's another one who scores every now and then, or sometimes longer than we'd think. But what's your initial thoughts on the whole, him making this team hard to beat? Where does he need to really strengthen it because you're obviously going to touch on the defence, but where more so do we need to do it, Clibber?
Well, I think if you've got 2 wingers at the standard that we have, although they've not showed it, I think the massive problem that we have is the wingers will go up towards the byline, stop, bring it back, and hope that our midfield joins them. But that's creating problems. I think that's creating massive problems. One, we're not quick enough, and we're not cute enough to do it. So that takes out the option, because I think basically because we haven't got a striker, that seems to have been the only option. It's not working. We need a striker up front. And like Ash said, we brought a player in that we were all sold. I mean, if you watch his videos, I'm here to score goals, bare goals, right? You're not going to do that as a substitute for Fatawa. You're not going to do that. So somewhere there's been miscommunication, if you ask me. But I would like to see, he's a big lad. He's athletic. clearly he's confident of scoring goals. I would like to see that. Somebody that's going to be in the box, because we've got nothing to cross to. There's no height. Vestergaard's out the side now. He offered a couple of goals here and there. There's no real height. Ayew can't jump. He jumps like he's got sand in his boots. And so we're left to score worldies, which is lovely on the eye and great for your YouTube clips, but it's not winning us games.
Oh, I prefer wingers who get chalk on their boots. I agree with Kubo, where players throw in the towel and the manager's constantly on their backs. I think the players are at this stage with a fan base now. They hate us and have thrown the towel in. How do you react to that? Obviously, the fans are critical. Of course, we are. We're constructive criticism because we want to see the side do well. We're always there, aren't we, Clibo? Week in, week out, supporting this team. But the fans turn up, and what the frustrating thing is with the fans is the players don't turn up and do what we want them to do to show that commitment, that fight, that team spirit, and go out there, give everything, and get the results. That's not happening, but the fans have the right to criticise the players. But the players have got to be strong-minded and have a backbone to go and prove the fans wrong at times when things aren't going right and think, well, okay, then we've got a point to prove. It's like they're just giving up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a passing-based game. I mean, I'd be interested to get your opinions. But it's chicken and egg, isn't it? You go into the ground, mostly when the game kicks off, everyone's up for it, right? Everyone's up for it. Everyone's come on. Then when things turn sour and they're showing no effort, that King Power Stadium for a few years now has been like it's like a care home. You know, there's no atmosphere. So at that point, it's up to the players to lift the fans. So there's got to be give and take. And I struggle. I struggle to sit. I've not been for a while. I've had surgeries and I'm just not. I can't sit there for that long. But when I was down there, I was just sort of sitting, looking at my phone, going, "This is just shit. I can't bear this any longer." I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest football, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
We're not playing great football. Obviously, Enzo came in, didn't he? He got us points. He did the job, came in, got the point. It weren't pretty football. You can be honest about it. Steve Cooper's football were low block football. Ruud van Nistelrooy, I don't bloody know what he was doing at times. And look at Marty's football. He played 4 different styles of football. He played one plan and then had about 5 different plans after that and just kept reverting the formations, the tactics. It was just like, well, what is the plan here? What do you want to do on a football pitch? Because when you're a manager, you've got to have that set plan to. It's like a default position in it to what you want to do and how you go about getting your results. And we just keep swapping and changing. It's like we put square pegs in round holes and just expect the best. And we're not doing that.
I mean, I think a big thing that Rowett has got to do now is actually say to the players, where do you think it's going? Where do you think it's gone wrong this season? Then talk to them. What's your take on things? Why do you think that we're in this position now? What do you think we can do to improve it? And let's see if they can get them on board that way, because everything else don't seem to be working, and it seems like they just throw the toys out the pram. Every little thing they don't like to wear, and then they're trying to say that all the fans. Give us something to actually go. Don't start turning fans. It's your job. You're getting paid good wages, and you should be doing the job and giving something to the fans to cheer about. We can't cheer. We're not going to cheer you on if you're playing shit, are we? You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It's give and take, ain't it?
It is give and take. They've both got to meet each other in the middle, and it just feels like the players.
Sorry, Jack.
Go on.
They can't take all the praise, but then not take the criticism.
Yeah.
You have to be able to man up and say, look, none of them can defend any of these performances. No. None of the players stand up and say, I've put a shift in, we've played well. You can't. So until they start doing that, then I'm afraid that the fans have every right to complain and moan and not even turn up to games.
Well, I think that's the problem. Sorry, Jack. That is the problem. If we've had a reasonable season where we're challenging for playoffs, when we're not playing well at home, for a few games here and there, the fans would still try and get the players up. But I think what the fans are seeing is that they're trying at times and getting nothing back, and that's frustrating. And I think both the fans and the players are at that point where they're just like,
what do we do?
The
players just
there has to be a shift, and that needs to be from a manager. A manager needs to come and say, this is what's going to happen, not let's try and make this happen.
And they need to know what players are on board and what ain't, and the ones that are not on board with it, then don't play them. Simple as that. But don't matter how good they are and who they are. If they're not willing to fight, then get them out.
I know King is a coach, but I wish he'd have kept Morgan and Albrighton on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You need players like that, though, don't you, to sort of say, you know what, this is used to be. Like, this is how you can be if you put your mindset in the right direction. But it's just like...
But they didn't want to be coaches. They don't... I mean, Albrighton said he didn't want to be a coach. He preferred the media. So, and in terms of Morgan...
He's at Forest, isn't he?
Forest as an ambassador.
Academy director thing, whatever he's doing at Forest.
Something like that. I mean... it's like people keep saying, let's get Vardy in as player manager. I've seen it lots in the comments. Now, yes, it's kind of Roy of the Rovers stuff and like a romantic idea.
Yeah.
But I think Rebecca said he didn't want to be a coach or manager. So that's not going to happen either. And why would he? He's playing in beautiful Italy and why would he come back in here to fight a fire with the likes of Rudkin, who he clearly doesn't like, and vice versa?
Yeah, I agree. This is what I say. These players, they need sitting down. They really need a sit down with Rowett. Let him tell him how he feels about it and say, I've watched you this season. I don't think you've been good enough. This is what we're going to do to put it right. If you're not with me, then I'm without you. And this is what he needs to drill in their minds. Kingy said the same, and they didn't like it.
I think he will do that. I do think he seems that kind of manager that will do that.
Purpose. That's what you need. Honestly. Yeah. Don't go making them cry. Just say, you know what, boys, you've got talent, but you're not showing that. You're where you are because you deserve to be where you are. But I'm here now to sort this out on a short-term basis, and you guys have got to be with me. You've got to have a backbone.
They can't keep hiding behind all the excuses about the points deduction and, about managers going in and stuff. It's the players are at fault more than as much as anyone. They've really not covered themselves in glory, barring a couple, like Jordan James, and he's not even a Leicester player. He's on loan. He's giving more effort than any of them.
If we down to League One, it ain't be next season.
Yeah, and we miss him quite bad, don't we, with his injury?
Take everything, take all his goals in the other way. We'd be 23rd in the table, and we'd be facing League One like Sheffield Wednesday straight away.
That's the sad thing about it, is even with the points deduction, it was still a relegation battle regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And top unfortunately is delusional, and he probably still thinks playoffs is the aim now.
The comment of, if you don't go up this season, what he said, we'll promote next season. I'm thinking, mate, you can't be saying that in the situation we're in. You've got to be thinking, okay, well, we need to stay up this season now. You knew what we're coming with this points deduction. You can't go and say we're going to make the playoffs this season. Mate, we're well off the playoffs. I said it to Clibbo, I think it was about October time. We're well off the playoffs if we're not willing to turn up and put it in. But we needed to get the points before the points deduction come. And we didn't. We failed. It's all right.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting.
You need to be beating other teams in this league, and we're just not showing up. We're not consistent. So you don't deserve playoffs to do it.
If you go back to JJ and how important it is to the team, that is a big blow.
Yeah, good kick, mate. Yeah.
But the best teams and the best players, take their opportunities. Our players not seeming to do that. Now, I think to keep hold of him, which I don't think we'll be able to do anyway, I think in order for him to want to stay here next season, you are going to have to put in place a footballing manager.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of, the freedom that I quite like, the fact that, he's quite passionate. He seemed quite passionate about coming to Leicester, but I don't think he'd want to play in a system that's not kick and rush, but that bypasses him, because he's not going to be able to do his best work. So I don't think a Rowett manager would be able to keep players like JJ at the club. That's the only caveat.
You need someone better. And reverting back to the fans, Ash, the fans turned up against Southampton in the first half. They were right behind the team. The San Kingy off at half time, and they were right behind the boys. They were, but it's about the boys putting on the show for the fans. The fans will get behind it if they feel they're being positive and they're actually putting in the effort. Go and win them second balls. Go and show you committed this season. And the fans will buy into that formula, and we will do. But while you're doing what you're doing, you're only giving us the right to criticise you all the time.
Now, what was they expecting the fans to do, having blown a 3-goal lead and losing 4-3 in 20 minutes? I mean, what was they expecting? To get a round of applause and get lauded off the field? Like, look, that first half is the best we've played for a long time. And deservedly got a standing ovation, and Kingy's name got shouted out. But that second half performance, we've seen it all season, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's why the fans are getting pissed off, because the players don't seem to learn anything, and they just keep making the same fuck-ups. And the mentality of the squad is just total on its arse.
Clibbo, Ben says here, under Rowett, we get tactics that have an average of 1.4 per game. Under Marty, we got nothing. And King was going off what Marty gave, end of the season, bringing a manager that the new technical director likes. Do you think that should be the approach at the end of the season, to say, give that when the technical director does come in? I don't know when he's going to come in. It's just bloody Alan Nixon's reported about a technical director. But when you get him in, you sort of sit with the technical director and say, you go and get us a suitable manager then for next season, whether we're going to be, if we stay in the Championship or we're in League One or whatever. It's your job now to go and earn your money, basically. And I know it's been put on, it's big pressure in it, Clibbo, with the technical director now to come in and sort this sort of situation out regarding players.
It is, but you've got to give the guy, you've got to use his attributes. He's a very, from what I can work out, he's very talented. So for me, it will obviously largely depend, like we've said already on the stream, where we finish, what league we're in. Yeah. But I do think that you need to give this guy, if he's the one that's coming in, a sit down and have a real good discussion and put his case towards why he would keep Rowett, why he wouldn't, who he would like in, why he would like this person in. And I think you've got to give this guy more than one vote. He's got to be a 2-vote guy, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, what's the point in having a guy like this come in and advise with the amount of experience that he's got, if somebody like potentially his boss says no? You know from the interviews that when they make these decisions, there's let's say four people around a table. If one person says, I don't want it, then they scrap the whole idea. I mean, where's the democracy in that? What's the point in someone in like who really should have quite a big say if one person's going to disagree?
So Rowett's confirmed. It's now been confirmed that he's the manager now. And
Cool.
Some job. I'm going to say all the best to him at this point now this season's
of course.
It's still better.
Of course.
What would you want to see now, boys, for the next 14 games before we end the stream? Ash, we'll go with you first, mate.
Yeah, I just want to see a bit of fight and a bit of passion and, not down in tools like they have been all season, and just a bit of structure and a bit of a game plan. It'd be quite nice. And hopefully a clean sheet. That'd be nice. But yeah, I just want us to fight for the badge and get some players that actually want to be here and do a job for us, because it's been totally lacking all season. So it's not going to be a miracle worker. Let's face it. He's only got 14 games to work with, but the players need to be on board with him from day one, and hopefully he can get us over the line. That's all we can hope, ain't it?
Clibbo?
Right. I would say I would be happy with I'd be reasonably happy with a 0-0 Stoke, clean sheet, something to build from, and progressively build those points averages up. I want to see a 90-minute performance. When I say 90 minutes, I mean a majority of the match. Okay. Because I don't think any manager is capable of coming into this club right now and hitting it right straight away, getting 3 points against Stoke, against Middlesbrough, against Norwich. I don't think that's going to happen. But we need to stop the loss for a start and get a clean sheet. And like you said, have them all pissing in the same pot, to use a crude analogy. But it is that's what needs to happen. And simplify the football so that they do understand what they're doing. And it doesn't take much. They're professional footballers. It doesn't take much to simplify it for them, so they understand what their main jobs are meant to be. So although that sounded a lot, I don't think that's too much to ask for the next 3 games.
You just want to see a team that you can see fight, determination.
I want to see a team that I can be bothered watching.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Any update on the Jordan James injury? I think it's a few weeks away.
I've heard it's closer to April. I've heard it's closer to April.
Oh God! Bloody hell. There we go. There we go. Everyone hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you know. We did start this stream before Gary Rowett was appointed, by the way, but Leicester City have announced Gary Rowett till the end of the season. That is the breaking news. Let me know your thoughts on it. Are you happy? Are you not? Let me know. And how much of a job Gary Rowett's got to do. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe as well. Thank you to Ash. Jack came in as well, so big up to him, by the way. Big up Clibbo. Bye, boys. I'm going to ask for a score prediction for Stoke now while Gary Rowett goes to his ex-club. It's the Gary Rowett derby on Saturday against Stoke. I'm going to ask you both for a score prediction, actually, while you both sat here.
1-1.
That's my score as well. I'm
Vote?
going 1-1. I'm going 1-1 as well. I would probably prefer a 0-0, but I think 1-1.
Callum Davidson is wow.
What?
Assistant manager.
Oh, wow. He played with, he was fullback with Rowett as well, under Peter Taylor.
He was once upon a time. Callum Davidson.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
That would reassure the fucking defence.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and we'll catch you soon.
In a bit.